little birdie tells me that you have a new book out. Do you want to tell us
I
about
do.
it?
Well, in between their debates on the RMA, they want something light, uplifting, something that really helps, sort of, it speaks to your soul,
Yeah.
Does it have pictures?
So it does have some pictures in. So the book that's being published by BWB, called The Good Economy, is a collection of work that we have done, basically through it's basically all the work we've done through the Council of Trade Unions, and documents like the Inflation and Incomes Act, the Building a Better Aotearoa, and we go through issues such as development. We go through issues such as education returns, unemployment, child poverty. And one of the questions the book's always asking is, what kind of economy do we want? Because we never articulate in New Zealand, or very rarely articulate in New Zealand, what kind of economy we want, what kind of thing we want to do. Because you can have any kind of economy that you want. You've got to have a lodestar, a sense of where you want to head to. And much of our economic policy in New Zealand is simply defensive.
Right.
We simply say, something goes wrong, we fix it. But we just bumble our way through that. And two, one of the things I say on this show often, so forgive me, is we know the cost of everything, but we know the value of nothing. And so when we make investments, I can tell you what the cost of building a hospital is. I can tell you what the cost of building a road is. But what I can't tell you is what the cost of not building that hospital is.
Yeah. Can't prove a negative.
Because, well, we can. So you can do this work. This is quite straightforward. We just choose not to.
Right.
And as a consequence, in choosing not to, we never know whether or not we should really have made that investment or not, because we're just assuming that not spending the money is good for us. Instead, if you were thinking about a hospital, if you build a new hospital, it would be more efficient. It would have doctors and nurses would be happier to be there. Patients would get in and out more quickly. The Crown would get more tax from people being better, faster, so on, so on and so forth. We never measure that. We only measure the cost of building the hospital and staffing it.
Yeah, I think that's our whole game plan for a majority of infrastructure. Like, we just don't have the mindset. Like, I go back to that article, I think it was someone from Fletcher's, going, every time we need to do a big project, we start from scratch.
Yes.
Because we don't have a consistent plan of like, well, let's spend the next 30, 40 years building hospitals, building tunnels, building bridges. That sort of thing is that we constantly have to import talent from overseas to do it, and then we let them go somewhere else.
And so, I'm really keen to stress, this isn't a party political book. I haven't written this as the Labour candidate for this. I'm not expecting this to be Labour Party policy. I'm not expecting any of this to be there. But if you take nothing else away from, this sort of thing, there's a quote that we use from Keynes, the great economist, where we say, who said, the difficulty lies not in the new ideas, but escaping from the old ones. And to me, that is the story of New Zealand's economy over the past 40 years. We've had an idea, which was we would apply a very open market, minimal government, minimal regulation economy, where people would be at liberty to do what they wanted. They could, they could sell their labor. You could build things. You could do what you wanted. Yeah. And we're 40 years into that, we're no better off. In fact, many of us are worse off as a consequence. So we need to escape from that idea and get a new set of ideas about the economy, a new set of ideas that work for everyone.
I guess the big question is, if The Big Short can get Margot Robbie in a bubble bath, when they make the movie of your book, who do you see in it?
Who's in your bubble bath?
That is a great and terrifying. I'm wondering when the bubble bath section of that is, possibly talking about the slightly frothy housing market that we have in New Zealand. You know,
you've had a suggestion.
That is a challenging image that I'm going to leave there.
Okay, very good. Hey, congratulations on the book.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it's not a mean feat to get it done. I put up, it's available at Whitcore's, all sorts of places. People talking about autographed copies as well. Maybe we should buy some off you, Craig, and do them autographed, put them on the BHN store or something if they want to get one. But let's talk about that later on. If people want to grab them now, sort of thing. Whitcore's, I guess, a bunch of other places I saw it as well for $20, just to let people know. But I guess Whitcore's is one of the bigger ones. Where did we see it? Aotearoa Books, Kitty Books, Whitcore's. You can pick it up if you want, but I'll fire you a message, and maybe if we can buy some off you and you can autograph them, then we can put them on our store as well if people want them.
If you do that, and please buy them through BWB, who's the publisher of the book, because that means it's much more straightforward, and BWB, who've backed me through this, get all the benefit on that side.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Hey, congratulations. Very exciting. Not many of us on the face of this little blue marble flying through space get a published book by the end of our lives. So well done on that. And thanks for the conversation tonight. I know it's been a bit sort of heavy and technical for some people, but I think it's really important to figure out, because people are freaking out about Westpac today. So it's good to know the system better. People are freaking out about the Resource Management Act yesterday, and I think there's good reason to. And people have had a tasty treat at the end hearing about your new book, and we'll hold you to that thing about Margot Robbie in the frothy market when you get your movie made. I'm available. I'm available for security that day. Like, I don't need to do anything. I'll just work security. No problems at all. Congratulations again, Craig.
Thank you.
Are we gonna? This is completely now behind the curtains. Are we doing a podcast tomorrow? Is there anything going
on? We might be. I need to talk. It's simply a function of my work. But if we do, we'll be doing the podcast on all of the details inside these reports.
Cool. Well, we'll let the people know if that is the case or not. Thank you for coming on, and we will talk to you soon.